Okay, this next example, eventually we're going to see this is kind of a square rooty thing, but that doesn't really matter. If we look at the domain, so x is 4 or bigger. So x is an element of real numbers such that x is greater than or equal to 4. The range is all real numbers, but it has to be bigger than, I didn't really mark the thing, but right, this is over here is 0, and so it has to be bigger than 0. So y is going to be bigger than or equal to 0. This is an in-betweener thing. So the domain, x is an element of real numbers. Now we see that the x goes from -1 to 7, from -1 to 7. And so the way we write that is -1 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 7. The range, y is equal to real numbers, such that, so the range, it goes from, I mean, it starts at there, it goes there, but we always go from lowest, the range is from lowest to highest. That's a 7, by the way. We probably should not have chosen 7. -3 to -3 to 8. So the range, -3 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 8. Now for practice, what you might want to do is go through this video again, and before I write the answer, see if you can figure out what it is. Open circle means it gets close to there, but it doesn't quite get there. So the domain in this case, x is an element of real numbers, such that, so it has to be bigger than -2, less than 5. So x is between 2 and 5. It can't be equal to -2, but it can be equal to 5. So we'll put an equal sign over there. The range is kind of a similar situation. Y could be any numbers, just in real numbers between a certain range. It goes from -9 to 4. From -9 to 4 is the range, but it can't be equal to -9, but it could be equal to the 4. That's our domain, that's our range. Well, let's check out what example I'm on. I think that was 3, that was 4. I think we're on example 5 now. Yeah, that's what we'll say. That's a straight line, we're going to say. And I also intended to have that go onwards to infinity and beyond. So, the domain, what are all the values of x? It's all the values of x. So the domain is just x is all real numbers. The range, what's the set? So the range is a set of all the values of y, and y over here is -7, and here it's -7, and here it's -7, and -7, and -7, and -7. The ranges are just -7. That is the set of all the values that y can be. It's just -7. Here we're going, it's just mostly the direction of the greater than or equal signs here. That's the only thing here. So the domain is, wow. Let's try it again. Better. So x is an element of real numbers such that, so it's bigger than -4. We start at -4 and it's going to be bigger than that, but it can't be equal to -4. So x is strictly bigger than -4. And that's the domain. Now the range, on the other hand, so the y values get as high as -2, not quite, not equal to -2, but it has to be less than that, right? So it's all this area, over here, it's less than -2. So the range is going to be y is an element of real numbers such that y is less than, but not equal to, -2. This is just more of the same. Not that exciting, actually. It's a boring example. So I'll go through it fast. X is an element of real numbers. It has to be less than 3, so, but it could be equal to it. Less than or equal to 3. That's a 3. And the range, y is an element of real numbers. It has to be bigger than negative 11. So y is bigger than or equal to, because it's a filled dot, negative 11. And the last one we have here, I think I had it like this. Oh, we're missing some numbers. We should put some numbers on. So we're going to say that this is -2, and this over here is, that should be +2, and this is -3. So I think we're on example 8 now. This one's a little bit weird. So if we look at the domain, this is going to be, this happens when you have an x on the bottom, when you have restrictions. So the domain is x is an element of real numbers. So x could be everything, or eventually we're going to call this an asymptote. So an asymptote is a line that a graph gets close to but doesn't quite touch. So it gets infinitely close, and that's a part of an asymptote. It has to be getting close, but it doesn't quite touch. But it never gets to 2. So the domain x can be anything, but not 2. And for the range, y is all real numbers, as long as y is not -3.